Well, good morning. I have another video for you today, and guess what? It's going to be, I think, one of the last ones from this location because it's Monday, the 24th of November, and this Sunday, I'm out of here. I'm headed, you know where. Most of you do. Quartzsite, Arizona. I'm very excited about that. So today, I skipped a day doing videos. Did anybody notice that? And it's not because I didn't have the energy or the will to do a video, but what I didn't have is a idea for a video that felt okay or felt right. And I think if I force myself to do a video just to do a video, it's going to really stink. But I'm really grateful that so many of you watch me regularly. It's really an honor. And recently, I've gotten to a point where my average views on a video's over 1,000, which is I'm thrilled about that. Yeah, I get it. There are big channels out there that have 1,000,000 views. That's not that's that's not in the same universe as me. But for me, every time you upload a video, it ranks it amongst your last 10 videos. And the dreaded thing that they say you look for is where it says, this video is 10 of 10, meaning it's the 10th of the last 10, it's the worst performing one. And the video I did day before yesterday was 10 of 10 and remains 10 of 10. But guess how many views it has? Like, hang on, I need to double check. Let's see. It has 1,000. Well, let's be exact. Let's give me all the credit I can get here. Video performance, views, 1,318 views. That's 10. That's the worst in the last 10 videos. That's the worst one. So I'm pretty thrilled with that. I'm pretty excited. So I thought I'd talk today about what's going on, and give me just a second here. This is just my phone's acting up a little bit. There we go. I'd talk about what's going on, how I'm preparing for Quartzsite, what are my plans in Quartzsite, how excited I am by it. So much of this will be repeat for those of you that watch regularly. I apologize for that. And I will tell you that in advance, this video is first going to be about my thoughts about Quartzsite. And then I'm going to look at some comments and some feedback I've gotten on that and give you my thoughts on the feedback. So that's what the video is going to be. So if that's not your cup of tea, you might want to bail and wait for one that you're more interested in. One of the things I don't want to do is waste your time. So Quartzsite, I will leave here Sunday morning, and I won't get to Quartzsite until Monday afternoon because I'm going to make a stop at Rover's Roost RV community right near the Arizona-New Mexico border near I-10. It's pretty remote. As a matter of fact, it's like... here's how as a nomad, we judge remoteness. How many miles away is Walmart? 70 miles. So it's 70 miles from Rover's Roost to Walmart. So, and that also includes any major grocery store, any big grocery store, or any kind of significant population area is 70 miles away. That's pretty far. But some people like it that way. It's very remote. And you can buy a lot there for as little as, on the website, I think it said $15,000, which buying someplace to go, where you can conceivably stay 365 days a year for the rest of your life. In the day and age where the average average home in this country is north of $350,000. You know what? Before I'm going to get fact checked, I know I will. So I'm going to go and fact check myself before I go forward. Let's see. Average home price in the U.S. presently. And we'll get a good source here for it. Zillow, that's a good one. $360,727. This is the thing us old folks say. And old folks before I was old used to say this. I never thought I would see the day. Do you hear that scratching? Dottie, are you digging a hole in the couch? Do you care how much I paid for the couch? Probably not. Anyway, that's pretty remarkable. I suppose if you've bought a house at a reasonable price 30 years ago and you've got all that equity, then you can afford $363,000 on a new home or a retirement home. But many of us are not that lucky. You know, I lived as an adult through the most lucrative housing boom in the country's history. It had nothing but bad luck. I lost money, I think, on at least 2 homes. I broke even on one, and I made money on one, but only 1 out of 4 did I make any money. Yet I had contemporaries that were making hundreds of thousands of dollars selling their homes. I don't know how I missed that boat, but I missed that boat. So anyway, Quartzsite. And Quartzsite is the absolute mecca for people like me. Nomads, both retired and not retired. Nomads, and we call them rubber tramps, right? A leather tramp is someone that lives on the road walking, leather, shoes. Did I get it up there? No. There we go. I wanted to prove I could do it without falling over or breaking something. And rubber tramps is that those represent the wheels. So there's a free convention for us every January called the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, and that's in Quartzsite in the week just preceding the big tent show, the RV and outdoor show that is under this the biggest tent I've ever seen in my life in Quartzsite every January. So it's like, I think it's the second week in January. And that's right in the middle of town, in Town Park, and it's free, and it's where we all meet, and there are guest speakers and seminars and all kinds of things but the most interesting part about it is you get to meet fellow nomads. You get to hang out and meet people like you, and it's a place to make new friends and to gain knowledge about the lifestyle. It's a pretty neat thing, and it was originated by Bob Wells, which is, I would argue that he is the modern day father of the modern nomad movement, and he's always there, right? You can get in the long line and wait and get a picture with him, because he is in this community. He is certainly the top celebrity in this community for sure. He has a YouTube page called Cheap RV Living. But anyway, Quartzsite, this year in Quartzsite, I have been, most people, I think, I don't have the hard statistics, but most people that camp in Quartzsite in the winter do so out in the desert, right? There are free areas that they call them 14-day areas, and this is all federal land under Bureau of Land Management. You can stay for 14 days for free. Then technically you have to move 25 miles away to another one, where you can stay 14 days and you can hop back and forth, and just you have to move every 14 days. There are 4 large long-term visitor areas that are also BLM land where you don't have to move, but the hitch is that if you want to stay for the whole season, many people do, the permit this year is $180 for the whole season, and that gets you a place where no one's going to tell you you have to move. You can camp in the same place from September 15th to April 15th. You have access to a dump station. You got an RV, it's a place to dump your black and gray tanks. And you have access to dumpsters where you can dump your garbage. And also you have access to unlimited fresh water, well water on BLM land. So that's a pretty good deal. I think it's $40 if you want to come in just for a couple of weeks. A lot of people do that. It's beautiful. If you have what you need to camp in the desert, it's a beautiful and comfortable place to be. It's the sunsets and sunrises and how the whole landscape changes as the day progresses, because the light does, it's hard to describe, but the light does amazing things. And you can be in one spot, and if, at 10 a.m. versus 2 p.m., it feels like you're in 2 different places, but you haven't moved. And it's beautiful. And the community out there and the wonderful, nice people, just about everyone you run into is in a great mood, and I love it. And I've been camping out there in one of the long-term visitor areas for the last 3 seasons. Now, this year, I'm not doing that. This year, on somewhat of a whim, I made a decision. I'm going to camp in one of the 53 RV parks in town. I got familiar with one of them called Arizona Sun RV Park, which is over a couple blocks behind the library, not far from the park that I mentioned where the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous is going to be. And I decided that the rate to me is very attractive, so I booked a site. And by the way, even when I got on I went to make reservations before I left last year, like in March, and then I had to go on a waiting list. So if you want to do this next year, try to book it now. But I was actually number 2 on the waiting list from March, and I didn't officially get a spot until I think almost August. It took that long to get for someone to come. It took 2 cancellations for me to get a spot. But most of the RV parks in Quartzsite have package deals depending on how long you're willing to book for. And also, as a side note, if you book for short periods of time, many of the prices go up during the peak month, January, sometimes even December, but definitely January. But I decided to book December, January, and February, 3 months, 90 days. And the price for that, and this is not the cheapest RV park, it's not the most expensive one, it's in the middle. I like to think it's the upper middle. It was $1,000. That's $333 per month for 3 months. And it does not include electricity. So I need to pay for electric, but I plan on using mainly solar. So I'll only use the park electric when I absolutely need to. So I plan on minimizing that. And here's my plan. My plan, and we'll see how my plan works out, is my goal is to spend $30 a month on electricity and no more. So that would be $1,090, tax, title, delivery, everything included for 3 months. So, and that represents the by far most expensive living, month-to-month living that I do all year round. So, there you go. And so why, people have asked, why are you doing that? And it's like, it was a whim. You know, one of the reasons I give is I think it would. I get a lot of views on my channel, and I would say 75 or 80% of the growth of my channel is due to my content when I'm in Quartzsite. So I take it. You know, I take it seriously, and for 3 years I've been doing very similar content in Quartzsite. So I thought this year a different perspective to let people know what it's like to winter in Quartzsite in an RV park would be, for me, for my channel, more unique content. So the other thing is, I just wanted to. And what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to completely revamp my solar system. And my good friend Denny is going to, he's a dealer for Victron, and he installs systems, and he's going to do that with me, and I'm going to do videos on it in the RV park. We're going to do that together, and I'm going to film that. And he has a up and coming channel called DDK Travels. So separate the DDK and the Travels, and you'll find him right away. He started recently this YouTube channel, and he's doing great. There's great information. I think he's either down near Yuma in one of the LTVAs down there, or maybe he's up in Quartzsite now. I'm not sure, but he's got lots of great content, so check him out. So I wouldn't be investing a couple $1,000 more in my my solar setup. So clearly I don't intend to be to not boondock anymore. And I'm going to be doing lots of boondocking, maybe a lot boondocking in the summer in Eagle Nest. We'll see how that turns out. So I anticipate the following year I'll be back out in La Posa South. What I might miss is being out there with my friends that I already know, but I'm hoping to make new friends. I'm hoping that I can visit them, but it's not the same as being there camping with them. It's never going to be the same as that. But I'm hoping to make some new friends in the RV park, and we'll see what that's like. Hopefully I won't be surrounded by, on either side of me, have people blasting, you know, rap music or hard rock until 1 a.m. every night or something horrible like that. But what I could always do is, I don't think that's going to happen. That's not what the RV parks are like in Quartzsite. So I'm half kidding. But even if I wasn't kidding, one of the great things about being a nomad is you have wheels on your house. If you don't like it, you can leave. You know, if I left early, I would have to probably negotiate something with the RV park, but I'm sure they're used to people leaving before the time that you signed up. And worst case is, I still have to pay the whole thing, and I go out and I, you know, spend an extra $180 to go back out to La Posa South. So anyway, no matter what happens, I can win here. So that's why I'm staying in an RV park. Are you convinced? I'm not sure I am. All I can say is that with absolute authenticity, I'm doing it just because I felt like it. I feel like it. So that's it. So I did some screenshots of some feedback that I thought was interesting. Now, you know, I get lots of wonderful comments, and people say very nice things and compliment my videos, and I really do appreciate that. You don't see me reading many of those on like I am here. What I tend to do is when people tell a story, when they tell their story on a or their part of their story or personal experience, those are the ones I generally read when I get to a video like this. And the first one is from Side Valve 45. I walked away from a job I held for 40 years. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but now 6 years later, I realize it's the best thing that could have happened. I had just turned 59. I like to say I got 3 years of my personal life back, as the plan was to retire at 62. Thanks for the video. That's a meaningful thing to me, because I had all along actually planned to work until I was 70. So that's the max for the Social Security. I don't have much else, so I'm going to go for that. And I ended up retiring at 61 and starting to collect Social Security at 62, and sacrificed not only a big chunk, I think the difference between 62 and 70 was my Social Security payments were almost like about half, not quite half, maybe 60% of what they would be had I waited till 70. And I also was working for a government, county government, where I was part of a pension plan, and my pension could have been triple what I ended up with. So I gave up a lot of money to say, I'm going to hit the road and I'm going to just take what I can get now. And like this person, it's the best thing I've done. I didn't realize, as much as I did enjoy my job, I wasn't miserable in my job. I loved my job. But it was a high stress environment. And I did not realize at all what the impact on my physical and mental health was until a few months after I left. About 3 months later, I had these daily feelings that came over me that were very strange. It was foreign to me. And I finally identified what that feeling was. It was a sense of peace, joy, and contentment. And I was used to those feelings in little bursts. Like I'd buy something that excited me new and I'd get a burst of that. But I was starting to feel that sensation day to day to day without a particular stimulus or particular intent. So I realized that taking that stress away was making me feel so much better. And I started looking better and physically feeling better. And I think I started looking, it didn't last long, but it's like, people, you look younger. They don't say that anymore, but they said that in the beginning, I swear. So now when I'm this season, I'll turn 66 in Quartzsite. If you're wondering what to get me for my birthday, I've only got one thing on my wish list. It's I'd like a 2026 Ford F450 Platinum Dually white. It's not that much. If you're Elon Musk or one of those guys, it's pocket change. So keep that in mind. So, Renee Slater says, we'll be leaving our travel trailer at our seasonal this year for the first time. I have a big list going. It's kind of stressful. Since we're leaving it means all the food needs to be removed. We try to keep it around 3 hours, sometimes 4 to 5. At our ages, 71 and 73, you have to be cautious of blood clots developing in your legs. Really good point. She's talking about how much travel to do on a given day. And she's saying 3 hours, sometimes 4 to 5, same as me. I rarely make the 3 hours. It's usually 4 to 5. My husband's one med is over $300 a month on Medicare with supplements. he has other tier 4 drugs also. I think I tend to smile at everyone, so everyone says hello and starts talking to me. And what she's referencing there is, I talked about there's certain people that have a hard time with relating to people, and they can't understand why people don't respond to them. And sometimes what the issue is they are unaware of what their body language and face is communicating to the world, and it's often has nothing to do with what you're feeling inside, because you can easily get in the habit of what they call a scowl or frown. And if you get in that habit, people will describe you as, oh, he's not very approachable. If you get in the habit of smiling and having a soft look on your face, in particular around other people, they will describe you as, oh, he's really approachable. And and that takes some effort. Like, the place I get recognized is Quartzsite, and I like getting recognized, and I like meeting new people. But for that to continue to happen, I have to remember when I go out and I'm focused on doing my errands, I have to remember what my face is looking like when I'm out there. Because if I'm concentrating on the widget I need to buy at the hardware store and I'm got a serious look on my face, people often will decide, well, he doesn't look like he's that open to someone coming up to him. But if I'm walking through and I'm giving people eye contact and I'm smiling at people, they'll say, hey, I know who you are. You're Travels with Dottie. They never know my name. They know Dottie, but they never know my name. And so she says, I think I tend to smile at everyone, so everyone says hello and starts talking to me. It's a big joke about me and our family. Well, it's a great joke because it's a good thing. It's a big, they say, this is mom, and she sees someone, they make a silly grin. Ha ha ha. That's, yeah, Renee, good for you. Good for you. Gypsy Soul talks about the drive duration. I totally agree with drive duration. 5 hours max, 3 hours pleasant. I do like my relaxing mornings, so there's no rush to hit the road. I don't like to arrive at camp too early either. Heading to Q in December. Yay, me too. Gypsy Soul, you'll probably see me in town, hopefully smiling. Little Ruby Vintage says, I do 3 hours towing or I stop by 3 p.m. It depends on the travel day. If I want to get some more miles down the road, then I go until 3 o'clock. But then I get a good rest, have a good time before it gets dark for walking the dog and getting my steps in for the day. I always spend 2 nights on the road to get to Q each year. It's almost 12 hours of travel time from where I live. Very similar to here. It's 10 hours from here. I'm going to take 2 days. So it's all good. Little Ruby Vintage is that's who wrote that. Here's a long one. It's more than one page on my phone. It's from Sweet DeCourts. Sweet DeCourts. I'm 70 and my husband's 69. We've had our RV for 3 years now. Been everywhere in the Midwest. Thousands of miles. I feel we do very well. I do all the driving. I'm good at it. Pulled everything from stock trailers loaded with horses to racing trailers filled with go karts. This February, we will take in our greatest adventure of all the way to Sarasota, staying 4 weeks, hitting all the sites along the way, including Fort Wilderness. My point, fear. You talk about age and driving. We take precautions, not driving at night, not driving too long or too many miles, and staying out of those middle lanes. Oh my, with the semi-truck passing you on both sides, that alone will give you a heart attack. Test your skills as soon as possible. I don't want it to end, but it's been a dream for a long time. But the end, I know it's eventually coming. I will guess I'll have to stay closer to home. George. Sorry. Dottie. Why are you barking at George? Look at this. Look at this. All George did was hop up on the couch to get up to her little perch, and Dottie was being a PETA. You were being a pita, Dottie. I guess I'll have to stay closer to home. And when you talk about socializing, I'll truly miss it. Yeah, there does come a time when we have to age out of the constant traveling and decide, well, I need to pick a place. I need to pick a place. That is inevitability with most of us. Solar Guy has 2 comments here, 2 of them. Quartzsite was great. Oregon elephant ears and coffee for breakfast. Evenings at Silly Al's Pizza with live music. Met a group of Aussies there. That's fair dinkum, mate. I went to the monument for High Jolly. Read the book about him in 3rd grade. Nice conversation in Spanish with a young Mexican guy at McDonald's. Blythe has everything. Just a great experience. Addendum, I live in the Philippines, and a friend of mine from Washington State keeps telling me we should bail and go to Quartzsite. I agree. Both be happier. Silly Al's Pizza. Oh, I'll tell you what. I just saw YouTuber. Her name is Wandering Jeepsy, and because she used to have a Jeep, but now she has a bus. But it's Wandering Jeepsy, Jeppsy. And she just did one of the best, she's in Quartzsite right now, and she did one of the best, clearest tours of places to get things done in town and where to go, what they are, what they cost, what the people are like. It was a video she released just a couple days ago, so check that out. If my brain works, I'll tag that video at the end here. And also I'll tag Denny's channel too. DDK Travels. I'll do that at the end of this video instead of promoting just my stuff. Let's see. Pete Diaz. Pete, you know where Pete lives? Key West. I am dying to go to Key West and spend time in Key West, but there is virtually zero chance I'm going to pull my trailer from New Mexico or Arizona all the way across the country only to have to drive the entire length of Florida and then keep going all the way to Key West. So the only way I'd probably do it is and I won't do it because it's just leaving George and Dottie. I just did it for 3 days. I did it, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good for George and I. It was fine for Dottie. Dottie got to stay with Deborah and her dog, Finn, and Dottie was not upset that I was gone. I mean, I came home like at midnight or 1, and Dottie was in the Deborah had left Dottie here, and she's on the couch. And after being gone for 3 or 4 days, I open the door and I go, Dottie, and she doesn't hop off the couch. She kind of gives me one of these, sup. But George was very vocal and acting traumatized for the next 2.5 days. I was starting to worry. George did not like me being gone, and really let me know that was a problem. So Pete Diaz, his comment. Nice ride along. When I visit my daughter in Lakeland, Florida, I eat at the hospital cafeteria regularly. It's huge. They have everything from breakfast specials to burgers, pizza, salad bar, blue plate specials, dessert bar, etc. It's amazing the choices they offer for amazing prices. Yeah. I discovered the Artesia Hospital, the cafe there, and I was blown away by 2 things. One, the quality. I had a California style breakfast quesadilla. That and coffee and whatever else I wanted to drink, $5, including tax. $5. That's it. And where do I tip? We don't take tips, they say. So it was $5. And then I find out that at lunch they have a, like a homemade big cheeseburger, like 8 ounces with fries. And, you can get the drinks for free too. $5. I think I might do that tomorrow. Tomorrow I go for a follow-up appointment with my doctor at the hospital at 10 a.m. And I'll probably be out by 11. It's a little early for lunch, but I might be able to putter around town and do something else and then go maybe at noon go in and get that cheeseburger and show you what that's like. That could be a good video I can do tomorrow. How's that? So a few people said, I can't believe you don't know about hospital cafeterias and restaurants. And apparently it's a thing. And I didn't know it was a thing, but now I know it's a thing. Love LUV, Love Cheddar 14, let me tell you what they're reacting to. I think they're reacting to me talking about the place I'm going to visit on my way to Quartzsite, the Rover's Roost, and I said 70 miles to like civilization. So they're responding to that saying, I'm laughing because it takes me 1 hour to get to the grocery stores. It takes me 4 hours altogether to go shopping and get back home. I live in the mountains. I've been doing it for 40 years. I can't wait to live closer to civilization. So that tells you, if you live at a place like that, it sort of wears on you after a while. So 4 hours altogether takes me 1 hour to get to the grocery store, 1 hour to get back. So it says she's spending 2 hours at the grocery store. But you know what? Now that I think about that and say it out loud, that's reasonable, because probably if you live that far away from the grocery store, there are other places that are around there that you might want to hit when you're there. So I'd say, half an hour, 45 minutes grocery shopping, and probably going to a restaurant or something like that, or the hardware store. There's 2 hours worth of stuff that probably happens on each one of those trips. This is from Bruce Kelly, and I was talking about door knocking etiquette for the nomad life. You don't knock on nomads' doors. You just don't do it. Here's why. Because especially with people that boondock, a knock on the door is almost never good news. It's often a complaint, or someone saying you can't camp here, or you need to move along, or there's some kind of issue, right? And a knock is automatically associated with punitive. A lot of people that do things like on trips, they'll park in a rest area or a Walmart parking lot, and sometimes, unbeknownst to them, they're not supposed to be doing that, and then they call it the dreaded knock, the 3 a.m. cop knock. You know what a cop knock is? A cop knock will wake the dead. They bang really loud, and it scares the hell out of you. There's little mini trauma response when a nomad hears a knock. So when we camp together, we never knock on each other's doors. Like, if I want to see Cheryl and her door's not open, I send her a text. And if she doesn't answer me, that means she's either not paying attention to her phone, which is fine, or she doesn't want company. Unless it's some kind of urgent thing, it would be very rare for me. I would probably, the first thing that you do is you stand about 20 feet away and you call out to somebody, hey, are you home? Even if the door is open and you just got the screen door, you say, hey, Cheryl, you around? And if you don't hear anything, if it's not something super urgent, and wanting to borrow a cup of sugar doesn't qualify, you walk away. So, good advice on door knocking etiquette. I was an OTR truck driver, and a knock on the door when I was parked was almost never a good thing. It causes door knock PTSD that never goes away. Some older drivers tell the new drivers that an uninvited knock is a good way to get bang. I don't think you're supposed to say the word on YouTube, so I didn't say it, but you know what he said there. And certainly these guys aren't serious, but they're trying to be a little funny, maybe. There was a video I had that's done really well. People really like it. Hidden Quartzsite camps you can actually join, no invite required, or no invite needed. And Jen West said, loved the video. My grandson travels with us, so we homeschool. Would you happen to know if there's a family type of group or area? We spent the winter there 2 years ago at one of about 2 RV parks that allow kids. As a 5-year-old, he became very good at becoming friends with the old people at the park. He was a little wild for the ladies of the pool. Went to Texas last year and stuck in Montana, home this year, already planned for next. Now, Quartzsite, I will tell you, is primarily older folks, not a lot of kids. However, does that mean there are no kids? Of course not. I've seen younger families with children in the long-term visitor areas, kids running around, riding bicycles. I don't know about a particular camp that's known for families, but you certainly can find them. And one of my go-tos for things like this is there's a Facebook page called Quartzsite Chatter. It's got thousands of people. You can go out there and say, hey, I'm coming to Quartzsite with my family. I've got 3 kids, and I'm hoping to camp near people that have other kids so my kids can play. Does anyone have any suggestions? And you may get an invite from one or more families to say, yeah, when you get here, contact us, and you can camp near us. That'll be fun. It might happen. It could happen. I'll do what? Oh, we're over 40 minutes. Oh, 42 minutes. We'll do a couple more. This one was interesting. Summer Stardust said, had someone knock on my RV tour in Havasu Heights, BLM last week. I was in the galley, and it took me a minute to thread my way back to my door. At the time they knocked and yelled 2 more times. Didn't seem to hear my just a minute, I'm coming. At 71, I don't move as fluidly as even 5 years ago. An insistent knock is a very real intrusion to an RVer. True statement. This one is from MKP 2375, and we're back to the topic of what's on your face, right? And how people react to what's on your face. It took me years to realize it, but when I'm concentrating, learning something new, or trying to make a difficult decision, I tend to have a scowl on my face. It only means that I'm processing information, not that I'm mad. Now I try to remember and smile at people when making eye contact. Thanks, Rob. Hi to Dottie and George. And again, that's often when we look at people there's a guy that lives near here that had this look on his face that, to me, it's the bully look. It's like, boy, that guy seems like a real so-and-so, right? And I got to know him, and it just wasn't true at all. What was on his face had nothing to do with the man he is. And it delayed me getting to know the guy quite a while. So it's a good thing to be aware of. But it was fun doing this today, and I hope people liked this video. I had a good time talking about. I always have a good time when I talk about stuff that I care about and I'm passionate about. So that'll be it for today, and I definitely we'll see you a few more times before we make that big trip to Quartzsite this coming Sunday. Take care.